How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Ubik with us today. You can say his name and what he does in the band.
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Tom. I do like about everything because I'm singing, playing guitar and bass. The only thing I'm not doing is the drums. But well, that's about it.
There we go. Well, again, I want to give a massive shout outs to Val. She's been a very close friend of mine for many years, so love to have whoever she talks about on the channel. So always major love to Val. But Tom, in regards to your band, I only know that Val had recommended me your band to check out, which I did check out your new EP that's out, Solace, which everybody can check the link below to go pick it up, go listen to it. It's great. I just finished listening through to it, so we'll talk about the songs and all that sort of stuff. But Tom, how did you start out in music? Is Ubik your first project, or have you been in like bands before? Like, kind of give me your origin story to being a musician.
Sure. I started out by playing guitar actually when I was like 10 years old or something like that. So as you can imagine, I always appreciated rock music, metal music. Ubik is a punk rock project. I actually came onto punk rock a bit later in my 20s by meeting some friends who were much more into punk rock than I was. Around that time, I joined a band called Bertis
Okay.
in France, where I was looking for a band to play guitar in, and well, they got me in as a bass player because we already had two guitar players. And it's with them actually that I really got into like fast punk rock with double time drums and everything. And when I was writing music for them, I stumbled upon some ideas that weren't quite a perfect fit with the
Okay.
band. So this was songs that I really wanted to put out. I didn't really have anyone to do it with, so I just did it by myself.
There we go. And that's how kind of I imagine Ubik started, and how you started working. How long of a time frame, in terms of the EP Solace? How long, like, were the songs like older, or all four of these songs like more recent? I would say within like the past couple years.
Yeah, I think the first few songs for the EP that I originally attempted to write for Bertis, I wrote around 2018,
Okay.
something like that. And the idea of making them real as a solo project came a bit later, like the following year, I guess,
Okay.
2019. So I've been working towards putting out the EP as it is now since then.
There we go. I feel like I did listen through Solace all the way through, and I really like it. I think it reminds me a lot of, we're going to be talking about influences as well, but it reminded me, the first band I could think of off the top of my head was like System of a Down. It has a very like that kind of feel to it.
It's a compliment. Thank you.
And I love like kind of the riffs, and even your voice kind of has that like surge kind of like tonality to it, which I think was really, at least for me, I listened to a ton of like rock and metal and all that sort of stuff, and this felt like very much in that sort of lane of things that I enjoy. I love the like kind of punk like beats going on with the drumming. I have to give a shout out to your drummer, who is I'm not gonna try to pronunciate it because I am not I am American, so I want to get reamed out for saying his name wrong, but I'll flash his name up on the screen so I don't look like an idiot. But yeah, Solace was great, and I think my favorite song out of the track list was 3, which was Over the Moon and Back. I thought that one was like the one that I was like, they're great. But like the first, all of the songs are really interesting. I felt like the last one, Waiting for Players, was interesting. It starts off like kind of like more acoustically, and then it kind of builds, which I like. So I thought that was interesting. But overall, it was a fun little like 4-track EP that I felt like didn't. By the time I got to the end of it, I was like, is there more? Is there more? Or do I have to like restart it again? And I felt like, obviously by the time I was going to restart it, we were going to start doing this interview. But yeah, I really liked it. Do you happen to have a favorite song off the EP, Tom?
Thank you so much for all that. Actually, my favorite one is the third one as well.
Oh, wow. All right. Look at that. Great recommendation then. I feel like it was just like, I think you have found a way to make the vocals interesting. Like it's something that I haven't heard in a while, and so for me, it was like I was like sitting here at my desk getting ready, and I was like, there was something about it that drew me in initially, and I was already like hooked. And then I went. Actually, funnily enough, I looked it up on YouTube first, and then I went to Bandcamp and listened to it on there. And I kind of went a little backwards. I listened to Total Ripoff first, and then went back and listened to The Place Demons, and then I listened to track 3, so I felt a little off in that aspect,
It's okay actually.
but it all
YouTube
worked.
did a number on me.
It was good,
It put the songs in the wrong order, so
but but
I
it
don't think you're the only one who had this problem.
but it was good, and I think like now, kind of listening to all 4 songs, now I understand kind of like the thought process on how you put the album slash EP together, and it was very interesting. Uh, I also think I believe it was in Total Ripoff, there's a guest feature. Am I correct to say on that, Tom?
Yeah, you're correct. There's a guest vocalist featured who's his name Tom, just like me. He's Tom West. He used to be the singer in the UK progressive punk rock band called Almeida, and now he's the new singer for Darko, which is a
Oh,
pretty big UK punk rock band as well. I really love his vocals, and he's an overall great dude. So I was really happy to have him on board for this song.
and how did you wind up getting Tom on the song as like a feature? I'm curious on how you guys maybe met and had talked about having you as a feature on Total Ripoff.
We met in real life back in 2018, I think. We were in Japan with Bertif, and we were touring in Japan, and he was as well with his band, and we had the luck to play 2 shows together. I was already a fan of Almeida back then, so I was really excited to meet them. And when I was working on the songs, and when I was working on the vocal lines for the verses with the 3 different vocal lines,
Mm-hmm.
I figured, oh, it would be cool to have like a different person than me to sing the really higher line, because these are notes I could have done, but I couldn't have done it as well as he did. So the more I was working on the song and thinking about it, the more I think in the back of my head I was like, okay, I really want this guy to sing on this song. And I actually asked him really early on, but he told me he would have liked to do it, but he couldn't because he already had a bit much on his plate. And actually, he was working on new songs with Darko, but he hadn't announced he was joining Darko yet, so he
Oh
couldn't tell me.
wow. Okay.
And I asked him again a few months later, because it actually took a bit of time to get to this point with the EP, and he was available by then, so he agreed. And well, thanks again to him. I'm really happy to have him
Kudos to
too.
Tom. Both Toms. This is great. I love it. Um
Thanks for him too.
oh, no problem. I feel like this was just kind of like an interesting EP, and usually when I have people suggest me bands, I I usually try to at least give my opportunity to just listen to the band, even if like they email me or whatever. I just want to say like, I'll go like email them back and say like I really enjoyed this song, but maybe like at the time I just may not have enough time to do something. And I felt like with Val, like again, she's been a fan and a friend for such a long time that I was like, okay, she's giving me a good recommendation. I feel like I have to really like invest a little bit more. And so I was so glad I did, because I think Soulless is really good and one of the more surprising like albums slash EPs I've heard this year. So that's definitely one to check out, guys. And again, I'll leave links in the description to go pick it up and listen to it. Also, it's going. It looks like it says there's a 5th track as well if you download it, and all the profits are going to UNHR. HCR. I don't know what that stands for.
Yeah, I have trouble with it too. So,
What's the donation platform it's going to, Tom? If you don't mind explaining that a little bit more.
UNHCR, if I'm not mistaken, is United Nations High Committee for Refugees. We're
Oh,
actually collecting donations for refugees all around the world, and as you know, there's quite a lot right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
in Ukraine, but not only. There's also Syria. There's also a lot of places around the world. People who need our help. So I figured since I wasn't making the EP to make a profit of it. I knew that I'm not. I'm an unknown artist. I wasn't planning to do like a lot of promotion. I was just doing this for the sake of doing it, for the pleasure of doing it. So I figured the little money I can make, I can get back by selling the EP. I want to give it to people who really need it.
that's very commendable. I love that. So guys, please go pick up that album if you can. It'll go to a great cause. So, and we're all about great causes here on the channel. So please go buy it if you can. If you can donate however much money you can, please go do it. It's awesome. And again, fifth track that I haven't heard yet, I'll probably have to go buy
I
it.
think
So
you'd like it
I I
because
I'm very excited. I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm very excited,
judging
Tom.
from your background, I guess you're a Pokemon fan.
Yes, I am very much. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
very
so
excited.
the fifth track is actually a cover from a song from the Pokemon UST, the first games.
Oh, all right. Now I gotta do it, Tom. That's awesome. Love it. I love it. The next question I have for you, Tom, and I'm very curious on this. Who kind of influenced you early on with guitar playing, making music? Were there any specific bands that got you started out into like metal and rock? And then who influences your style more currently now?
Ooh, there's been a few. Yeah. I think the first band who actually really influenced my style of guitar playing was System of a Down, which you mentioned earlier. Um, it's also true, I guess, a little bit for the vocal part, but mostly on the guitar part.
Hmm.
When I was a teenager, I was really, really, really into System of a Down, and I learned to play a lot of their songs. And I think they're the band who got me into thinking, you don't have to stick to one genre. Like you can mix stuff from other influences around. So Solace is pretty mild in that regard, but it's something I like to do overall. And more recently, it's mainly when I joined Betis, which I was talking about earlier, and I got into like skate punk and melodic hardcore. I got to know many bands, which really blew my mind. The first of which is a William Scream from the USA.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh,
I'm a huge fan of a Williams Scream ever since then, and I was lucky enough to have the guitar player from a Williams Scream, Trevor Wiley. He's the one who mixed the EP.
what? That's so cool.
He did an amazing job, and he really took part in making it the way it is now. So I'm really grateful towards him as well.
There we go. Great. Listen, those are two great bands. Wilhelm Scream. Definitely go check them out if you haven't. They're awesome. And of course, System of a Down. I feel like, if you're of that age, you know that that's like one of the
Top
quintessential
notch.
metal bands. Great. They do everything super well, and like I said, it was really tight. So definitely go give this one a listen if you can, as well as just go check out those bands as well. But the next question I have for you, Tom, is what are you listening to currently? What do you listen on your like day to day? Is there any bands that you can recommend to the fans out here?
For sure. Well, if you like punk rock and you like System of a Down, you definitely have to check out Qualia. Their full name is Qualia and the Five Ancestors of the Great Marian Kingdom, which is like a long name. They're a band from Greece,
Ooh,
and they're
okay.
like playing really progressive and intricate punk rock. The vocal style is definitely reminiscent of Serge's, much more than my own, and it's really an awesome band. They're not that much known, but they deserve a lot more recognition because they're really awesome. Um, Other than that, actually, I'm not listening to much punk rock these days. I think I need to cool off my head a little bit from working intensely on the on the EP. I'm currently working on a hardcore or metalcore project with a few guys I encountered a bit ago. So I'm like discovering this genre that I don't know that well either. But I've been listening to Normagine, which
Oh
is a
yeah.
great hardcore band, and it's kind of follow up with the same singer, The Chariot. Like, I didn't know progressive hardcore was a thing, but they proved me wrong. So I'm really glad that I discovered that.
There we go. I love that. Norma Jean, fantastic. The Chariot, also great. I would definitely recommend if you haven't checked them out, Tom, is Counterparts. I feel like you would really like them. They're like melodic
Yeah.
hardcore. Like they have some punk stuff. But yeah, they're a fantastic band. So I got some recommendations for you if you need them, Tom.
Keep it coming.
I will certainly. But yeah, I love that. And you know, I feel like when you have an album release, I feel like there's just a ton of you're just like, I really just want to just chill out and not. I want to just enjoy my like peace and quiet of releasing the album, having that enjoyment, and so I get that certainly. So, but everybody should check out Solace. I keep telling you this, but check the links. It's gonna be great. You're gonna love
That's
it.
great. Thank you.
But the next question I have for you, Tom, is a fun one. If you could pick a song to cover, what would it be?
Oh, wow. I've got many ideas about that actually. The next few things I'll be doing as Ubik will be covering other songs to put more content on the YouTube channel. Um, there will be guitar covers and vocal covers. I think
Ooh.
I'll do that when I have enough time because it always takes a bit of time to practice these songs enough to be able to do a proper cover. But I'm thinking about playing a song by Adrenalized, a Spanish punk rock band that you might know about. I'm working on that. A song from Propagandy as well.
Ooh.
Um,
Okay.
and on the vocal side, the covers I'd like to do are a little less punk rock. uh, there's several ideas, but at some point I'd really like to do a cover of Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up." I love this song,
Ooh. I like that. That would be
and
cool. I
it pretty much fits my vocal range. So I'd like to do that. I'm thinking about it.
You should do it. I think that would be great. I just watched and I'll give a shout outs to Vice. I just finished watching like how he had gotten popular off, Never Gonna Give You Up. And it's a
Yeah,
great video. It's like I think like a half an hour. It's on YouTube. Go check it out.
yeah,
I thought that was such a great thing, and I think it really plays into like um how sometimes music can be just like this thing that is obviously a great thing, but also I think some people forget that there's a negative side to being a musician and like being in the limelight and touring all the time. So I think it's a very good video to watch if you are a musician and you tour a lot. I feel like people are going to resonate a lot with that video. So definitely go check it out. It's great. But and just like I would love to hear that cover. So, guys,
Rick
go ahead, Tom.
Rick Astley is a really a great singer, and he seems to be a great guy overall. So I'd love to do that.
Yes, absolutely, guys. Let us know in the comments you would love to hear Ubik cover. I guess again, if I had to put my vote in, definitely the Rick Astley "Never Gonna Give You Up." I feel like that one would come out so well. So, guys, let them know down below, and that'd be great. But the next question I have for you, Tom, is what is your favorite food to eat?
Oh, it really depends on the time of my life, I guess. But well, what thing that can't fail to please me is hamburgers.
Ooh,
Not
okay.
really original, but I love hamburgers.
There we go. That's great. I feel like for myself, like living in the States, I would be curious to know like if I've traveled abroad before, but to like go visit different countries and see how they do like a hamburger or like a cheeseburger or
Steaks.
something like that, because I feel like everybody does it a little bit differently. So even in the States, everybody does it a little differently. So I couldn't even imagine what they think's a hamburger, what I think's a hamburger, what am I getting into? So I feel like I got to do it. So maybe someday.
I think that's one of the great things about this kind of food. You know, it's so simple that you can do it a thousand ways, a thousand different ways, and I don't know. There's like great veggie burgers now, things like that, and
Oh yeah,
it's really cool to have a variety, and
keeps it
it's like
interesting.
you're still surprised every time, regardless of knowing the thing perfectly. And
Yeah, no, I feel that as like someone who tries to incorporate like some like vegan and vegetarian foods into their diet. Like there's some stuff that if you didn't tell me it was like a vegetarian or like a vegan item, I probably wouldn't have thought any different. Unless I like when I go to the grocery store, I like grab it and I'll make it up, and then I'll be surprised that it tastes pretty close to hamburger. Obviously not exactly the same, but I think it's close enough,
yeah,
you know.
it's good too. Yeah.
So next question I have for you, Tom, is another fun one. If you could pick somebody to collaborate with on an up and coming Ubik record, who would you love to work with?
Oh my, so many so many possibilities. Um, anyone?
Anyone.
Probably Serge Tankian.
Ooh, all right. Let's make it happen. That'd be great.
I mean, if really it can be anyone, most definitely him. I love his vocal style, and it's so great.
There we go, guys. Well, listen, I don't know if Tom's has a Twitter page, but if he did, or if he doesn't matter. What you want to do is you just want to at Surge on Twitter, and we're gonna make this happen. Ubik, System of a Down, it's happening. So let's make it work. I'm very excited to make this like collaboration happen. It's it's been a long time in the making, so I feel like we gotta do it. So, guys, that's all I'm saying. That would be such a cool collaboration. So I feel like we have to do it. So let's make it happen, guys. But the next question I have for you, Tom. Obviously, on this on Solus, you did guitars, you did vocals, you play bass. What's another musical instrument you would love to add to your catalog in terms of getting good at?
Definitely the piano. I started teaching myself the piano during the second lockdown here in France.
Hmm.
Um, from the start, I told myself I was doing this like peacefully at my own rhythm, not putting pressure on it. So little by little, I'm doing this by myself. I can play a couple of pieces. Like you can tell what it is when I play it, so it's good enough for me right now. I just do I just play a bit of piano when when I have time to do it. But I'd really love to get better at it, and why not incorporate it in future compositions? I mean, it's it's like the instrument. So
Oh, 100%. I feel like it would be very cool to, because I feel like there's already a lot of layers going on in your work. So I feel like to add piano on top of that and make it real, like almost have, I guess, like kind of like a classical kind of like more progressive vibe, almost like, I feel like a little bit like Dream Theater esque, because I know Dream Theater has a piano player as well. That would be really cool. So I feel like obviously that's a long time is in the works, but I'm glad that you were pressing on, Tom, to learn piano. As I picked up a bass over quarantine, it's over next to my cat over there, but
I can see the cat.
yeah, the cat is just going to town over here. But yeah, I picked up a bass and it has been collecting dust right now. So hopefully I can break it out and write some music. But yeah, really cool stuff. Awesome. Thanks,
It's
bud.
never too late.
Thanks. All right, my cat. Shout outs to Meatball. But
Ah,
the next question I have for you, Tom, you kind of alluded to it earlier. Obviously, you can tell I'm very much a nerd, so I feel like I have to ask you this question as a fellow nerd. If you could be a video game character, who would you be?
huh. I guess I'd be Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. It's like my favorite game. I'm replaying it on a regular basis. I'm in the middle of a playthrough right now, so
Oh, there you go. I feel that. um,
I like to I know the game like the back of my hand, so I like to just play to unwind. I don't really have to think. I don't really have to try really doing anything. It's just I like doing it. I still try to do some little things differently each time, and it's just a fun way to relive the same thing, I guess. But I like playing the same things, watching the same shows, reading the same books. If I really enjoy them, I like doing that. It's
I
comforting, I guess.
yeah, I feel that. I'm kind of the same way. Like whenever I move, I have this tradition of always playing. I have a couple Studio Ghibli movies on DVD, and I just throw them in the DVD. Throw them in my Xbox, and I'll just watch them like as I'm like putting everything away like with it when I move. So I feel like that's just kind of like my tradition now is just like play like a
Yeah,
nice like animated movie. And then obviously of course like Pokemon. That's like I'm very excited for next Friday, new Pokemon game. Very stoked on that. So I'm gonna go just like guys. I just want to let you know. I know this is in the future, but I am gonna be gone. Like just been playing Pokemon, so don't bother me. I'm kidding. Still be doing that, but in the meantime, like between times, I'll be playing Pokemon, 100%. There's no doubt. So find me on Nintendo, the Nintendo Online. I'll add you up. But the next question I have for you, Tom, is another music related question. Of course, if you were to compile a dream tour lineup, who obviously with Ubik, who would you love to have on?
in terms of musicians who would play the
Yes,
instruments or other bands.
like bands, like a band, like a tour.
Well, I guess I just go with the punk rock bands I look up to. So definitely William Scream, which I already mentioned. Uh, Darko, which I already mentioned as well. Uh, Belvedere from Canada.
Ooh, okay.
Uh, Propagandy from Canada too. And yeah, and probably Qualia, which I also mentioned earlier. I actually haven't ever had the chance to see these guys live, so what better occasion would there be?
There we go. This is great, guys. Let's make that happen too. Again, I'm trying to make all the dreams happen this year and next year. So
Congrats.
let's do it. I don't have I have a little pull, but I feel like I gotta use whatever little pull I can get and try to get people to do it. So
That's awesome.
let's make it happen, guys. I don't know what type of connections you got, but if you got some good ones, make sure to DM me. But the next question I have for you, Tom, is favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Um, Favorite TV show. That's a bit tough to choose. I guess I have to say BoJack Horseman,
Oh yes,
which
yes.
I also watched several times by now, and each time I saw it, I couldn't help but be amazed by the quality of the writing, the depth of the characters. It's just uncanny to me, and it's I've despite the fact it's an animated show, it just feels so real, you know.
Oh yeah,
Um,
oh yeah.
really like that. And as for movies, I actually don't watch many movies, but I guess I'd have to go with Fight Club. It's a bit of a cliche, I know, but it's the movie who started my love for the psychological thrillers, if I can say so. Especially the kind of stories where you end up realizing that the main character you've been following actually has a distorted version of reality. I'm not gonna give other examples because I don't want to spoil people, but that's one of my favorite tropes in movies, and I mean in stories in general.
I would agree. I've seen Fight Club a couple different handful of times. I haven't seen it recently, but I'll have to go back and watch it again. But I think that that's a fantastic movie as well. So obviously, a classic cinema right there. So please go check out Fight Club and obviously BoJack Horseman, also great too. If you haven't watched that, definitely give that a watch too. But the next question I have for you, Tom, if you were trapped on a desert island for the next month and there was one album you could bring with you to listen to, what album would it be?
Oh, that's just one.
Just
That's really tough. Um, that might be surprising, but I think I'd go with a rap album actually, like a really long rap album because
okay.
it takes a while to decipher all the little subtleties in the lyrics, and I think I guess I get bored way slower. So maybe if I really had to pick one right now, I think I'd go with Disposable Arts by Master Ace. I think it's late 90s, early 2000s album, which is just amazing. It's unbelievable how good it is.
Ooh, all right. I'll have to check that. I haven't checked that one out, so I feel like I have to give that one a listen now. Seems interesting. But
Uh, just to give you an idea of the impact of this album, on Eminem's second album, so the one that got him famous, he
mhm.
starts one song by making a reference to that Master Ace album.
Ooh,
It's
okay.
like he's taking a rhyme from Master Ace and incorporating it to his own song. So it's like he's one of his role models.
That's actually very cool.
Yeah, it is.
I'll have to actually check that out. That's so interesting. So I'll have to. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to dissect it very well, but I'm gonna certainly try. So I'll have to give it a listen. But the next question I have for you, Tom, is one I've been rounding out a lot of my interviews with recently, which is what do you want people to take away from Ubik as you doing music? I feel like a lot of the times when I have artists on, uh, you know, obviously they make music. That's an awesome thing, but there's people behind the music that make it. So, why do you create? Why are you passionate about, what you do with Ubik and obviously the UP Solace?
Yeah, it's it's a tough question to answer. Like, why do we do the things we do? But if what I'd like people to take from what I do anyway is maybe take a step back and try to think about themselves, about other people around them, about the society we all live in, about
Mm-hmm.
the lack of sense it all makes, but still all the opportunities that they have to make things for the better for everyone. I don't know. It's what I try to do with the EP. Like the different songs are all uh, exploring different perspectives. Like some are very wide, some are very narrow, but the common theme is like, okay, try to take a step back and think about what it really means to be alive today and what we could do differently to make things different and better, especially right now.
Oh,
Everything's going to shit right now, so
yeah.
we have to.
I feel that certainly, and I think it's packaged in a way that it doesn't feel overbearing. You can read the lyrics, and you can listen to the song, and the songs are great, and then obviously if you're in it to listen to the music, that's great. But I feel like the lyricism, because I did check out some of the lyrics on some of the songs, and it did feel like, obviously this you can have that, like, very wide and open like mindset on things, and then there's stuff that you can be a little bit more narrow minded on. And I think that this really does a great job of explaining, like, everybody has different viewpoints, but we all kind of have the commonality that we all exist, we all live, and to try to do better, right? I think that that's really what it comes down to, and just be a good person. Like, I feel like the motto I live by is don't be an asshole. So I feel like nobody likes an asshole. So I feel like
Yeah,
that's
and
what I try to live
we all
by.
make mistakes, you know. We can all be wrong, and sometimes it takes a really long time to understand what we're doing wrong. But we shouldn't stop trying.
Yeah, I don't. I think that this is a good marker for not only musicality is great, but I also feel like lyrically it's very insightful and very in depth, and I think I appreciate. I think it makes me appreciate the songs that much more because I think there's a lot of time that bands take in kind of putting the songs together and how they wind up ending up on like an album or an EP, but I think sometimes we discount the lyricism behind it. And I feel like these two, I feel like the musicality and the lyricism are on like the same level in terms of high quality goodness. So go check it out. And I'll leave the floor to Tom. Tom, tell people where they can find Ubik at, what you have coming up in the coming months, and anything else you would like to talk about.
Cheers. Well, thank you so much for saying what you just said. Was really trying to strike that balance between being catchy and being interesting. So if you think I did a good job, I'm glad. You can find the EP like pretty much anywhere actually, but the primary source is Bandcamp. It's Ubik zero, the digit zero.bandcamp.com, and you just end up on the page where you can get the album. You can pay for it if you want to. You can also not pay for it and get it for free. You'll get the fifth track even if you don't pay. No worries. It's all right. You just do what you can. There's nothing really coming up for Ubik itself right now. Maybe a few covers, like I mentioned earlier, but I'll be focusing on other projects with Vertif, with maybe my other band that's getting born right now. So I'll see. I'll see what's coming on, but right now I'm not sure. And well, I think I laid my speech enough already, but yeah, we are. It's strange times we're living right now, so I guess if we can all like make a slight effort to do more for everyone, that'd be cool.
I agree.
It's a pretty dumb thing to say, but at the same time, not that much if you think about it. So
Oh yeah, I feel like I try every day. I try to do something just like positive for my friends, my family, people I met. Tom, doing this for Tom. So please go check out Ubik. I'll leave his Facebook page, his Bandcamp, his YouTube page. Please go give them all a follow, a like. Please go pick up the album. Pay for the album. I know Tom is telling you not to, but pay for it, please. Like it's well worth it's well worth the money. I could tell you that 100%. I listened to all of it. It was great. So please go pick it up if you can. And if you enjoyed this interview, share, like, and subscribe. It will also be in audio format as well. So be on Spotify, Apple Music, any other podcast streaming site. It will be on there. So if you are driving into work and you want to listen to me and Tom talk about Ubik, great. If you don't, I'll be upset, but it's okay. So hopefully you'll listen to it at some point. And again, I know I mentioned it at the top of the show, but again, I want to give Val a huge shout out. She's great. Love her to death. So big shouts to Val. And also, big love to Tom for coming on. And we'll have to have some of your other projects on the channel soon.
thank you so much for having me, Brandon.